Welcome to the rainy season edition of the Corey Shepherd podcast. You can't complain that the sun too hot and then complain about tomorrow rain, eh?
You know Trinidad like the party, you know Trinidad like the fest. You're playing social. You start off on philosophy, till now you can't move up yet. If you continue on that you'll regret. Take a bet, got a lot of fans but we getting fed up. Woman said to me, you got to mix it up cause all is jamming non-stop. Jam your song, Johnny. The atmosphere real hot. Cool on my body. You see much shoot stop.
Speed it up for we.
Leave me on the go.
And wet me down, honey.
All night. Let me feel right. When the tongue on fire. The rhythm you jamming must make me perspire all day. Let we break away. When it's time for fun.
Honey, wet me down. Welcome to episode 143 about the Corey Shepherd podcast. Welcome back to everybody who's been listening. Welcome to all the new listeners. All you know where to find the podcast. Share it with a friend, right? Let somebody laugh too. Hey, in the spirit of rainy season and instant flooding.
When it's time to free me body, carnival is in the air. No sing me no sad song.
Padam, 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 pam.
Seriousness does make me guilty. For messages I don't care. Cause my drink is fat, whiskey and beer. Be aware, in order to stay on top and maintain your airplane. Give it more energy for we to dingo Lagos. Carnival is jam non-stop. Jam your song, Johnny. The atmosphere real hot. Cool down my body. You see much to stop. Speed it up, honey. To keep me on the go. Wet me down, honey, all night. Wet me down. Let me feel right. When the tongue on fire. The rhythm you jamming must make me perspire all day. Let me break away. When it's time for fun. Honey, wet me down.
I say, honey, wet me down. Honey, wet me. Well, the voice is great, Johnny King, man. Great. All you want to say, one of the best soca they ever ride, wet me down. One of the best, one of the best. All the week was. All you do for the week, all you complain about the rain, all you avoid the floods, all you duck work because we get a yellow alert, one yellow alert. And rain started duck immediately. I mean, work started duck immediately. People want to go to work, they're waiting for WhatsApp group to say whether they should come to work. Are we back to that time where you had to wait for the teacher to say if they come into school in the WhatsApp group before you decide to send the train or not? And I'm not sure, but what is the April showers bring May flowers? Is that Trinidadian thing or is that foreign thing? Is it normal for so much rain in June? I ain't sure. But I know we under yellow alerts. By late last night, I see the updates. It's our orange alert. So first and foremost, everybody stay safe. Everybody try and stay dry in the areas that flood prone. Take your measurements. Do what you have to do. I had clients message early yesterday morning to say, well, let me know what's the situation. You know, flooding could get people marooned and things. It's a sad sight to see, you know. Well, we have a whole dry season and the first little bit of rain place done start to flood already. And I remember growing up as a little youth where Shogunas and Central was the flood plain of the country, you know what I mean? And now it's Port of Spain, it's down by City Gate. If you're in town and too much rain falling, you could be in some trouble. But I want to talk about local government election to open this, right? And we're blazing through some topics today, right? Because on some deadlines, right? On some deadlines. A man in the office there, a fellow named Stephen Kobe, man, make him work on some deadlines. But local government election announced, and all of a sudden, I going up the highway and I see all the bush by both sides of the highway by the Nagar on one side and Answer McCall and them on the next side. All that clear up. Dredging is going on. It's almost as if, and you know, we live in this little paradise where that is acceptable, you know, that is a norm, it is expected and it's acceptable, where once local government go in and announce, or we coming close to the time for local government elections, even before it's announced, all of a sudden, man, know which road to fix. I guarantee you now, very high profile, high visibility, and high traffic roads gonna get paved pell-mell within the next few months. Sweet TNT. Only a paved road, like we see it. You're gonna see it coming down the line now, Arapita Avenue. You're gonna see roads in town paved. The highway, a portion of that go get touched. Down the cross in San Fernando by the Dial in Arima. Busy corner in Chicago. You know the normal busy corner in Chicago have a size of pothole there for the longest while. With rain falling now and cover that pothole, people could be in trouble. But local government election is announced, folks. So we will well see roads fixed. But I'll get to that. Before I reach there, let me just give you a quick update, right? I went by the great Sergey Adonin. And stitches are out. Man says stitches is for bitches. Nah, he didn't say that. But the stitches are out. And healing is in progress. So I'm still accepting all healing energy, all positive vibes, all prayers. I'm accepting all of it. The more I listen my way, the better. I'm hoping that there's energy. Because the little squad I have here, we used to play small goal football. They officially turned into a big match or a big goal fet match side. So I'm calling all people. I know some of the listeners here is footballers too. Elderly footballers. Salute Mills and Mills. A whole bunch of elderly footballers, right? If all you have a little fet match side, now is the time to contact me and let me know so we could get a little fet match side together and only might have a side to play. So my goal now is to get myself back in a little bit of a gear so that I could play a little big goal football. I haven't done this in many, many years. I remember playing big goal football. Last of the big goal football I played was with BG. Salute that squad from BG. And they put me to play last stopper. You know, a man like to play up front, but they put me to play first stopper, I mean. And a fellow named Lockhart playing last stopper. And these boys have me playing well. Against a team named Marion House. If you're supposed to know Marion House, right? Marion House is a home for boys. I feel like I talked about this already, but them men put me to play first stopper. And them little youth men in Marion House, so fast. Them is 18 years old. And that's their World Cup. Them men running blazing coming down the road. And Lucky is telling me, mash half line. When we had the ball going forward. And we have a good little squad there. We have men who could play. But he's telling me, mash half line when the ball gone forward. And I try and say, Lucky, when them men get back the ball, was we plan to reach back? We can't get back. I just seen ball whap down the road. And all of a sudden I in a full tint sprint trying to get back to protect my goal. So I'm definitely not playing no defense. Maybe I could play a little midfield if bad comes to worse where I talk about midfield like in the middle circle where I don't want to run too much. But hopefully I could get my fitness back up to play up front because I went and played some football last week, much against the doctor's orders and everybody's orders. You know what I mean? You ever play football with stitches in your foot? So my wind is low, you know what I mean? My wind is low. My cardio is low. I'm trying to join back the gym, loss off that little. I ain't putting as much weight as I put on the first surgery, but I'm trying to lose back that, get my wind up, and hopefully play some big goal football soon. But what better place to start than in the sports? Because we have plenty congratulations to send out to sportsmen this year. First and foremost, we had to say salute to what I think we found the greatest football coach of all time. Greatest coach of all time. I mean, it's hard to dispute now. The man won a treble over the weekend. It's hard to dispute that the greatest football coach of all time, without argument, is the great Angus Eve. Great Angus Eve. Greatest coach I've ever seen in the history of football. We play against Guatemala on Sunday. Beat them 1-0. Despite, let me talk to my partner, Lasana Liebert, a little bit here for a second, right? Because Wired 868 is my source for all sporting news, particularly football news as it pertains to the great Soca Warriors, who would be the greatest dynasty of all time at this point in CARICOM and otherwise. Right? What is it called? CARIFTA? CARICOM? CONCACAF. We beat the side 1-0, right? We went there. I gonna trying to take in the game. I'm trying to get a stream. I didn't understand what happened. I see the game delayed. Next one I hear it's a no current in Philadelphia. You see, we alone do our problems. And there's no current gone in Philadelphia and the game postponed. So I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know if I was gonna play the same day or what. And I say, let me check Lasana, and then because Lasana must have the updates on the game. And by the time I check it, I realized that the game did play, probably at a delayed time. And we beat Guatemala 1-0, as we should. Under the greatest coach of all time, treble-winning Angus Eve. The first leg of the treble was completed on Sunday evening, and we beat Guatemala 1-0. Now, I want to start a write for Lasana, you know. I wonder if I could write. I ain't so good with the reading, no, but if you give me 2-3 weeks to come up with an article, I could come up with one. Because we went there and we beat these men in these states. A team that have been struggling for so long when we were Bahamas and Puerto Rico and all them people was beating we. Angus Eve hardly conceding a goal anyway. We gone and we beat Guatemala 1-0 as a warm-up game to CONCACAF Gold Cup early round qualifying, whatever is the right way to say that, right? And Lasana headline is, this is our winning game. We win, we beat people, which is what we're supposed to do, right? So we've been, I don't want to say we've been beating people, but we've been competing at a level we haven't seen this team compete maybe since, for a decade at least, right? And this man headline saying, Alvin breaks 6-year goal drought as makeshift TNT team edge Guatemala in 1-0 friendly. I don't like it. I want to rewrite these headlines. Soka Warriors beat people bad as Alvin finds back his book. So give me something positive, Nalasana. What the hell is going on? He went on to say the Trinidad and Tobago men's national senior team stretched the unbeaten run to 6 games last night. Why the hell didn't make that the headline? As they edge Guatemala 1-0 in an international friendly at the Subaru Park in Pennsylvania. Alvin Jones got the lone goal item from the penalty spot to snap a 6-year goal drought. 6 years is a long time. For the ambitious right back, after substitute Real Gil was tripped in the area by opposing defender Jose Morales. So Alvin Jones, I want to assume that goal 6 years ago, is that the goal that puts USA out of the World Cup? I was there, you know. I was there. It's one of the greatest goals I've ever seen. Ambitious is the right word because that man was pushing up from right back. And I think he was, well into their half, but very far from the goal still. And that man lined up to shoot. I couldn't believe he was going to shoot from there. And people might forget in that game too that there was a free kick that he took in his second half that was real close to scoring as well, right? But he went on to say head coach Angus Eve is likely to savor the clean sheet as well. As the Soka Warriors conceded 68% of Guatemala. Keep possession. You keep that. And spend much of the second half chasing the boys. All right, we good at that. We fit. Crucially, really look vulnerable to the Central American opponents. Why Lasana put all the best news in the last sentence of every paragraph? I don't understand it. Put that first. Say, hey, crucially, the Soka Warriors really look vulnerable against the Central American opponents, although they had 68% are useless, unpenetrating. I'll go and write something for Lasana. I'll go and rewrite this on Sunday time and see if I could get how they pay writers by the minute, by the word, by the letter, by the quality, by the likes and shares and so on. I feel I just to contribute to Lasana and them at Wyatt 868. But salute to Wyatt because they always have the news on the Soka Warriors team. So that was the first leg of the treble-winning Angus Eve over the weekend. And the second and third leg came at the same time. Just making Angus the greatest coach ever. Trinidad and Tobago have qualified for the 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup without even kicking a ball. That's his coach for your money. I tell you, Angus is the special one. You know? He is the real special one. Not kicking a ball and qualifying for the CONCACAF Gold Cup after CONCACAF ruled against Nicaragua over the use of a naturalized player. A naturalized player will be like what? If you ain't born there and you come down there to live and you... So a naturalized player is what, Birchall? As a further consequence, Trinidad and Tobago, so that's the second leg, right? We in the Gold Cup. Thing to celebrate. Third leg now. As a further consequence, Trinidad and Tobago will also replace Nicaragua in the CONCACAF Nations League A for the 2023-2024 competition, which also serves as a pathway to the 2024 Copa America. So we in qualifying for Copa America as the third leg, we qualify for the Gold Cup as the second leg, and we beat Guatemala for a weekend of a treble completing weekend. First treble ever in history. First treble ever in the history of Trinidad and Tobago football under the stewardship of the great Angus Eve, and we couldn't want nothing better. So the two things coming out of this. Congratulations to the team. I'm happy to see we in the Gold Cup. I just want to read a little further into what Lasana writes in here, right? Is a group. I'm a little scared. I ain't lying. I'm scared in my heart. Because I think later on in the article, he went on to say that we in our group now with USA, with USA and Jamaica. Two teams that we have not looked very good against at all in a long time. I believe, if I remember right, somewhere under Angus stewardship, we played Jamaica and we draw 0-0. Am I remembering that right? But we typically don't look very, very good against these sides, you know. And I mean, maybe it's a function of, they always say that if the local, if you're domestic, and this is something Angus was lobbying for a long time, if your domestic cup or your domestic football or your domestic league not active, then you have a problem being ready for international competitive games. So maybe it's a credit and a testament to the fact that we have a pro league. The players are a little sharper, a little fitter, a little more match ready, a little more competitive. They have the aggression in them already. So when we put together a team to go and play these fellas and then we could beat people. And the only way you could beat us is clearly to field illegal naturalized players. So it's either we hope Jamaica bring in some kind of illegal player and America bring in some kind of illegal player moving us forward to the knockout stage and win the Gold Cup, or we step up our game a little bit between now and then. You ever watch I mean, in all seriousness, salute to the Denver Nuggets as well, because they win the most boring finals I ever see. I wish NBA would start to play the finals somewhere between 4 and 7 o'clock in the evening. This staying up late to watch football to watch basketball or any sports is tough. I can't tell you the last time I watched a basketball game. It's rough. But Denver come through and beat the Heat this weekend, winning their, is that Denver's first ever ring? Probably. This playoff series had a few sweeps. I know. Was it the Knicks that get sweep or the Lakers? Somebody get sweep. Somebody get a 4-0, or they had plenty 4-1 and them kind of thing in this playoffs. And sometimes you worry about teams, right? When you're in the playoffs and you sweep a team. At least when I was watching basketball regularly, one of the things that used to happen is that you end up waiting to see who you will play next. And during the waiting period, which could be a week and a half sometimes, it's said that the team might lack a little bit of sharpness going into the next series, and it tends to work against them, right? Some see it as rest, and they get rest and they come back better, but some see it as you're lacking some sharpness in the match after that in the game. And I was hoping that we was able to play the qualifying games to get into the World Cup, so that Angus gets a build on his 6-match unbeaten and several matches without conceding goals and so on, building his defensive strength and building the attack going forward and all those things. So that by the time he qualified for the Gold Cup, which I had no doubt that we would, we are a little more match ready. So my question is this. Now that we automatically qualified, does that mean that we don't have to play those 2 games to qualify for Gold Cup anymore? I'm assuming that it means that if we had come second behind Nicaragua, whoever had come third would have to go up and play those qualifying games. They might have get themselves together and all them get a last minute call. But I'm hoping that Angus is able to secure some friendlies in the interim. Some very, very competitive friendlies, so that the team could continue to grow and build match sharpness ahead of that Gold Cup. We are going to play USA and Jamaica. In the words of Jamaica, the way we playing sometimes here, it not go pretty. But we in and we have a trouble. Salute as well. We coming off of sports, ladies. I know a sports thing, but this is the most important story we have. So salute to the Man City people. Only make a real trouble, you know what I mean? Only make a real trouble over the weekend. And all right, salute to Pep, who probably putting himself in the argument for being one of the greatest coaches of all time after Angus too. And they come through with a little 1-0 win of their own. I wonder what the hell is right about Man City 1-0 win. Let me see if it is only Trinidad he's right these kind of articles about. Did you write an article about Man City winning? Nah, like you don't write no foreign article, like it's solely focused on the local game. I put in Man City and I ain't see nothing come up. I was waiting for you to understand. I was waiting to see if you say a glorious goal by Rodri in a hard-fought game. I was waiting for you. But we'll wait and see where you write about the next stages of qualifying to or the Gold Cup, that is. But yeah, Pep win and take the treble. And I just want to salute particularly all Man City fans over 30 years of age. I want to just take a minute to acknowledge all you in all your Man City jersey. I just want to acknowledge all it because I have a neighbor here by the name of Zola. When he started to talk about Man City, I think it's amazing. It's amazing. This man is about 55 years old, but he's a Man City fan, a diehard, he says. So, I mean, according to him, he had to start supporting our side. Sometime we asked him who's the team before Man City. He said he never had no team before Man City. There's a baller, it's a man who could play football. St. Anne's Rangers, Dwayne Alzola is what I'm talking about. But he said he had no side before Man City. All right, cool, all right. So salute to them on the sports front and so on. But let me get back to the local government election, right? In some serious matters. Headline from the Newsday. Local government election issues. Local government election has been set for August 14th and is an apt time to address some of the behaviors and actions that are truly counterproductive during this season. So the date is set. And roadsides are clearing, drains are dredging, money is finding, thing is doing. And I always want to ask the question, is it that we just do things for optics when it's election time to make sure that we beat these people? You know what I mean? We keep them on the sideline and we beat them. Or is it that we have to give contractors money so that we could get money to fund our political campaign during this silly season? So we make sure we find things to do. And incidentally, the population will benefit from some of the things we do because we had to build a box drain, we had to clear something. That's how we will pass the money to you. Or is it that the bureaucracy is so slow and so it takes so long to react and so long to get anything done, particularly in areas where you have a local government or a council that is controlled by the UNC or a little dominant with UNC councillors or the makeup of the corporation itself, that everything's stuck, and it's only when you announce the election and you dissolve the board that the government could then say, all right, we're doing everything that we wanted to do. Is it the process keeping us back? The thing about it is all them three scenarios, I couldn't tell you which one worse. They're all terrible. They all work against us. And it's so glaring, and people going to run and vote and campaign and say, yes, we think, and all the wicked, all the pen Rowley there. And this. I hear a man say, Rowley needs to resign because he didn't wear no hard hat at the opening or something. Was it stadium or something? So he didn't wear no hard hat. So you say Rowley head, Rowley dad. But it's the strangest thing that they make political issues here. But this article from the Newsday is seeking to address some of the issues with local government election, right? So unfortunately, history has shown us that in an election season, race and ethnicity still play a role in political attitudes and can be used as a tool for some for political support. Racial bias and discrimination are heightened, and the relative unity we enjoy as a nation is disrupted in a major way. You only find so boy. To be honest with you, this is the way I feel about this, right? This is a discussion that is always rearing its head around election time. Race and the racial discrimination and bias in Trinidad goes nowhere outside of election season. It is very much present, and if you want to use the social media comments as a barometer for that, go and use that. If you want to use hiring practices of certain organizations, go and use that. If you want to use day-to-day interactions on the road, go and use that. I don't think it goes anywhere. I feel as if the politicians play on it. And familiarity, you know what I mean? People vote for who look like them and people trust who look like them more historically from caveman days. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of a sort of polarized, not even just race, like I'm struggling to find the word, but it's almost like two movements. And there's a polarization among those two movements that could be drawn along racial lines. But I think it even deeper than race in some areas. But I don't know that it goes anywhere. I also don't feel like David Rodgers say how we vote is not how we party. I think how we vote is how we party. You know what I mean? But rather than a season that divides us, we should look at elections as a time to espouse the best democratic principles and practices in order for all citizens to exercise full suffrage to choose our representatives in free and fair elections. I think we have that already. But he says, too often in recent times, there are publications of language and rhetoric over the various mediums of communication that carry racial and discriminatory undertones, which have the propensity to encourage disunity rather than unity. The noble aspiration of our Twin Republic is to be a nation devoid of any and all forms of discrimination. Really? Best wishes. The Equal Opportunity Commission is mandated as a part of its responsibilities under the Equal Opportunity Act to discourage racial discrimination and to actively encourage, through education, racial equality and harmony across all demographics of society that is in keeping with the tenets of a just society. So I guess this really is the EOC promoting equality and trying to say, don't race bait and don't use them kind of things for election. So best wishes, EOC. Best wishes. I hope that is the case. I don't think the election is just maybe put in a magnifying glass so that it's clearer to see what is already there, but I don't know that changing anything. So we have the 14th coming up. We're going to get some things out of the corporations. And, when I look at the way they run governance in the US, where there's a federal government, and then there's the state legislature and the state governance, basically. I tend to look at that as a sort of parallel to what we have in Trinidad. Different system and everything, right? The comparison I'm making is that they have somebody who's responsible for laws and statutes across the US. So they have some laws that would be federal, meaning accepted by most, if not all, states. And there's federal government, so there's high-level government, macro government, right? And then they have micro governance at the state level, where different states have different laws and so on. I find it's akin to what we need to work toward here with the system of local government versus what's called the big government again? Big government versus local government, where you have the prime minister and the MPs and so on controlling legislature for the whole country, but every, what we call it here, community, every local government jurisdiction, struggling to find words this morning, I said, they're overworking me, but every local government district, or correct me, I need comments, right? Could have its own statutes, how we govern the area, how we respond to problems and so on. And Trinidad might be a little small for us to have one law in Chaguanas and the next one in Couva, right? So as you're going down the highway, you had to adjust because they have some different law that going on down there. But certainly for the distribution and implementation of services on the ground, that local government system is an important part of it. And I always talk about MPs, not seeing a MP as a big discussion. I do feel as if we need to see the MPs and see the prime ministers and those people more, but that is for a show. That's not necessarily for us to be able to go and tell the prime minister we problems and those kind of things that we like to do. The people who we really need is the boots on the grounds of the councillors in the area, or the people in charge of local government, whatever they called after local government reform, who might be people who are closer to the ground, who might live in the area, who seeing some of the same problems that we have in that area and could help us address them. So, for instance, I remember when they built that roundabout by Price Plaza, how much of a help that was. They had abandoned a flyover that was taking you, that you could have come straight off the highway and go into Price Plaza. If you come in southbound or northbound, you could have go straight. It was causing too much traffic. Jack wanna say, here was he seen? Reroute that, per roundabout so, and everything runs smooth. And it helped a lot. I feel as if time has passed, more vehicles on the road, different communities get, nobody in build as fast as Chaguanas in this country. That is all. Everywhere you turn is housing development inside here. Private, public, the full works. And I wonder if nobody looking at the fact that Chaguanas gone back to being one of the biggest traffic havens they have in the country. And I like what they do by down by Chuck E. Cheese with Brentwood and thing there, where there's a quicker exit onto the highway. But I feel like if we at the point now where Brentwood and 500 and them places develop so much that we need a flyover now or some kind of way to get from northbound straight into Brentwood area and get straight into Chaguanas as a different route than going down into Chaguanas proper and trying to come onto that main road with all that sort of traffic. Somebody had to be looking at that, and somebody had to be implementing and lobbying and making sure that the right funding comes the right way to get those changes made. which is a real opportunity that we have for local government. So at this point, what should I do? Should I like encourage people to go and vote? Go and vote for local, you know what I mean? Go and vote for representation. Go and listen to manifestos. Go and listen to town meeting and all these kind of things so that we can, you know what I mean, go and see what is happening in the country and be a part of the electoral process of local government, of which I'm not going to be a part of. I might just take the 2 hours. You know, you're supposed to get 2 hours. You're supposed to get 2 hours to go and vote. I might just take that 2 hours to go. But just observe what's going to happen, local and abroad. Just observe what is going to happen over the next year or so. Oh, sorry, between now and the 14th, so that we could we could see how much progress we've made due to the calling of an election. And maybe what we need, despite all my calls over the years, maybe what we need is elections to happen more frequently. So every year or so they have local government election, and every 2 years they have general election. If that's the way for us to get things done, maybe that's the way to go. In other news, I stay at the government level for a minute. Trinidad and Tobago, Tourism Trinidad Limited, wants Google's help to promote some positive news about Trinidad and Tobago through its search engine. Now, Rashad Khan is the man who wrote this article from Guardian, right? And I had to tell Rashad, I find you making the people sound bad. You didn't make it sound like it's search engine optimization, or, you know what I mean, they're looking at consultants who could help them with Google image, well, Google Insights or whatever it is, so that when people look up Trinidad, you kind of make it sound like if them boys and them call and say, hey, Google, only making we look bad, help we look good. So the revelation came from TTL chairman Clifford Hamilton as he spoke about the threat the country's crime rate posed to tourism before a Public Accounts Enterprise Committee panel yesterday, acknowledging that crime was a public menace to the country. He said the goal is to counteract the international perception. We are hoping that we would be able to enter some agreement with Google, whereby in terms of search engines, if we give them content that is positive, when you Google Trinidad, what comes up first are those positive things that we are saying about the country or other people saying about the destination. He's quoted as saying, so we're looking in terms of how we can help minimize the international and regional perception of crime in Trinidad. Richard, I like what you do here now. That meant song real earlier. Despite this, he noted feedback yesterday received by TTL suggests that the international tourists are not as concerned about crime. All right. Okay. Thanks for that information, Cliff. So the idea here is to manage the perception of the country. This is not new. This has been done from ever since before it had an internet. Managing the perception of a brand is an important thing for marketing people, right? Brand perception is critical. And the reality is this, right? I talk to students all the time, and coincidentally, I was telling all last week, right? I have a digital economy class going on right now. And in that digital economy class, I'll be honest with you, I sung in like how Clifford sung in this article. I sung in outdated and archaic and irrelevant, like my time passed, because the examples I use, and the last time I teach e-commerce might have been about 2013, 14, right? And I mean, first time I teaching e-commerce, so up to date and everything. Now, when I talk into the class and I'm trying to find examples for websites, and I started using Facebook as a parallel for social media. You know what I talk about? MySpace and ICQ and these kind of things, that people watch me like, what is this guy talking about? I need to up my technological knowledge as this course go along fast before I get booted out. But the reality is the same here for Clifford. Just the way Clifford wording some of these things. He said, boy, here, boy, I go send all you some images. I go send all you some good story. And all you go pour the good story for me. It's sounding so archaic and dated. But the idea of managing a brand perception is something that agencies have done for a long time. It's one of the main focuses, as a matter of fact, of advertising agencies. As a matter of fact, one of the best books I ever read in marketing. This is what makes me love marketing as a field, right? There's a book by the name of Positioning. I feel I have that wrong, so let me Google as I go. Trout. Rep. Positioning, The Battle for Your Mind, is written by Al Rice and Jack Trout. I hope I have them names right too, do I? Yes, Al Rice and Jack Trout. R-I-E-S and Jack Trout. Forward by Philip Kotler. If you're in marketing, you know who Kotler is, right? Kotler. That had to be new. When I read this book, Kotler wasn't writing nothing in there. But Al Rise and Jack Trout, positioning the battle for your mind. If you're into marketing and you're into business as a whole, like I would encourage anybody who's going to start a new business to read 2 books, right? Read a book by the name of Fired Up. I can't remember who wrote that. But it talks about the emotional issues associated with starting your own business, the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride. And Positioning by Al Rise and Jack Trout. It says how to be seen and heard in the overcrowded marketplace. Now, I read this book in the early 2000s. It was 2001, 2002 is when I was introduced to this book. So imagine if they was calling a marketplace crowded in 2001, 2002. What would you call the marketplace today if you're looking at any marketplace for any business that you could identify or come up with? They are all crowded. We work with people all the time to do like business plans and like feasibility studies. If you're now going into a business, you might do the feasibility study to do competitive analysis and so on, so you know who are your competitors. It's designed to give you a document that you could go to the bank with to try to get finance. You know, not the bank so much, hopefully financiers, right, or investors. So we look at what you're bringing. What's the problem that you're trying to solve? Who you're trying to solve the problem for? How much it will cost you to solve the problem? How much you could make by solving the problem? And then how much you will need to get into the business, right? So that you present that as a pitch deck, basically, right? So you could present that to your investors or your would-be investors and get your business off the ground. All of us have a problem we want to solve. Our business is not just to make money. It had to start with some problem you're trying to solve for somebody. And if you could do that consistently over time, you have something. But what Al Rise and Jack Trout talk about went a little deeper than that for me, and it resonated with me because it was saying any problem that you are attempting to solve, somebody done getting the problem solved already, right? So I'll tell people in marketing classes, for instance, if your chair rocking, right, in the class, or the table rocking, what would you do right now? Most of the people say, I will bend up a little piece of paper and put it under the thing, rock it again until it's stable. So but there's my point. Any problem that you have, you could find a way to solve that problem for free. So the idea that you have some novel idea that have no competitor does not exist to me at all. Number 2, the idea that you create something so innovative and new that everybody go and come run down your door. That is fool's ambitions. That is boardroom ambitions for fools. That does not happen that way. Nobody cares about where you're making. And Al Rise and Jack Trout will basically talk about brand positioning as a way to not just identify what is the problem you solve and who you solve it for, but identify how are you going to solve it differently from the other people who done solving that problem already. It makes perfect sense to me, and this stick with me throughout my whole career. I want to know what make you special. What make you different than everybody else? I done listening to Corey podcast already. You want me to listen to yours? What you going to do special? What you going to do different from Corey? What you going to do in addition to what Corey doing to help people sit down here for a couple hours a week to listen to, or get people to go on YouTube and watch podcasts even though the screen black like hell? What are you going to do different? What are you going to do special? What are you going to do in addition to? How are you going to help? Because I don't want to part with my money, my little money I'm making every month. And I don't want to go and spend it on anything. If you could give me a good reason and solve my problem differently from how I would solve it myself or from how some competitors solving it for me, you're onto something. What's the point of positioning in relation to what Cliff talking about for Trinidad and Tobago Tourism Limited? In the 70s or 80s, these 2 gentlemen worked with Jamaica government to position Jamaica, to craft out a brand positioning for Jamaica. They in a similar and I want to say maybe although Cliff songing like he from the 70s too, and the way he talking about this, but it's very similar to what he is trying to accomplish, because what he's talking about is a brand positioning issue. I don't know if he realized this, but putting out an article that says, yeah, well, I want to hide the crime statistics from people so they could just see the good side of Trinidad. Maybe that's not the best way to word that, right, Cliff? What you could have possibly say is I really want to make sure that our brand positioning is strong, we identify something that Trinidad and Tobago stands for that is meaningful in the marketplace. And I want to be able to, when people are looking for a choice for their budget where they could spend their money to go, I want them to have strong impetus and good reason to come to Trinidad and Tobago over some of the other countries. That would have, the crime situation would have been addressed. Because what you could do then is say, all right, what are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are our competitors' strengths and weaknesses? We could compare those things. How do people view St. Lucia vacations? How do they view Jamaica? How do they view Barbados? If that's who you're calling your competitors. Or how do they view Greece and Santorini? Why people is run there to take pictures of place and all the houses white and all the thing blue and it look good on the gram and everybody know you spend plenty of money to go there. Okay, all right. So say they're selling some kind of exclusivity. You can do this. This is not this is not rocket science. You don't have to go and call the man from Google and say, "Hey, we'll put the crime thing by Sona. I have some pictures of Richard's Bacon Shack to send to you." So anybody Google, just show them Richard's Bacon Shack. Don't show them Sandman get gunned down on a beach about a mile away. Don't show them that. Hide that. Just show them Richard's Bacon Shack and show them Hyatt. Show them Hyatt. You know what I mean? Show them the nice little. Show them Alicia's Palace. You know what I mean? Show them the nice parts of Trinidad, the Savannah. Show them York and Lara and these kind of things. So these fellas, I don't know who. And I just a strange family, right? But I'm going to stop complaining about men like Cliff and them, right? Because myself included, along with every other person I talk to who is in my age group, the best and the brightest people I know refuse to become a part of the political process, including me. All of we afraid it so much. Most of the people who I talk to, the first problem they have is my reputation. I can tell you for me, I'm afraid. I don't know if my life could stand the scrutiny of politics when Padarat and Saddam Hussein and them go and find all kinds of things to say about you and all of a sudden I have problems. I could do without that. I don't need that to go through. I was talking to somebody recently and they were saying, boy, if I have all the bank in the world and I have all the backing and my house paid off and them kind of thing, I could easily run any politics because I have nothing to lose and I have a good fallback position. If I run and lose, I have no issue. So I complaining about these things as somebody who probably want to stay very far from political process until somebody, some bright young person my age, overhaul the whole system. But what Alrise and Jack Trout were able to do for Jamaica back in the 70s, I believe it was. I was looking for articles on it and I'm not seeing anything clear on it. But if I remember from the book, the idea of positioning Jamaica behind a One Love thing, that was what Bob Marley had done. Was it One Love or Jamaica? Yeah, man. There was some slogan or tagline tied to the campaign, right? Because it came down to a campaign that would be run in the US and European markets, encouraging tourists to come to Jamaica. The work that they would have done then would have increased Jamaica's foreign direct investments through the amounts of hotels and so on that would have continued, up to today, continue to invest in Jamaica. The amount of tourists that started to come in Jamaica as the resorts grew. But also the perception, like anybody who was living in New York in the 80s used to tell you, from the time you started to talk, they want to know if he's a Jamaican. In my mind, my very humble mind, that is a direct result of the work that Al Rice and Jack Trout and the government of Jamaica would have put into their brand positioning. They were seen as the Caribbean destination, not a Caribbean destination. They were seen as a place to get away and experience life, go out to the cold. You know, they did the work to show what Jamaica is bringing to the table and why you should think about Jamaica differently. I'll read a little piece of what the book was about here for you, right? The term positioning was coined in 1969 by Al Royce and Jack Trout in the paper Positioning is a game people play in today's Me Too marketplace. It's no time more relevant than now for a Me Too type marketplace. In the publication Industrial Marketing. It was then expanded into their groundbreaking first book, Positioning, the Battle for Your Mind. Positioning is something that happens in the mind of the target market, meaning who you're trying to sell to, you want to put something in your mind about them. So for instance, when I say the name Mercedes-Benz, Nike, Apple, Rattans, something goes in your mind as to what those brands stand for. That is what we call any positioning, right? So positioning is something that's happened in your mind, in the mind of the target audience, and is relative to our competitor. Rattans, we want to say cheap. We want to say it's low cost. Is bargain, whatever is the word that you want to use, it is only low cost or cheap compared to what the rest of the market does. If the rest of the market starts to sell cheaper than Rattans, they can no longer be positioned as cheap. So Rattans have to pay attention to what happening with all the competitors, right? So it's, again, the aggregate perception of the market in relation to the perceptions of the competitors in the same category. Most importantly here, it will happen whether or not a company's management is proactive, reactive, or passive about the ongoing process of evolving a position. So what it's saying here is, if you start a business and you don't pay attention at all to what is the perception people have of you, they are still going to have a perception. Because when I pull up Caribbean vacation, let me use that example, right? When I pull up, I want to go on a Caribbean vacation and I'm in Switzerland somewhere. Something is going to come up about the destinations, probably on places like Travelocity, Hotels.com, Expedia, Travel, wherever the places they use in Europe, right? Ryanair, the airline, go have some information. Ryanair is come here. Amsterdam, KLM, somebody will have information about the destinations they go to. And if you never do any work to position yourself as anything in the market, in the minds of the people who are traveling tourists or sunsea and fun tourists, they will still have a perception about you. So I think this is what Cliff could have said a little differently. To say that what we want to do is manage the brand perception of Trinidad. One of the most important things in this book is that you have to identify what the other people do in ES and how they are perceived. But the starting point for you is to craft how you want to be perceived. Clifford's starting point is how you do not want to be perceived. I don't understand the starting point. In other words, rather than starting by saying, we want to be seen as an off the beaten path type tourism thing. We want to be seen as people who could come and do ecotourism. What kind of tourism they have? In other words, you could come Carney, you could go Bird Sanctuary, we now remake Asa Right, so that's who remake. We could position ourselves like that and say, boy, listen, when you want the commercial thing to go and smoke outside of bushweed and thing, go Jamaica, but when you want the hard stuff and go up in the bush and go up El Tukush by Leroy Clark and thing, here's the place to come. Identify the target audience for that, and you might say, boy, listen, they have millions of people interested in this, and set yourself up from a product standpoint in terms of what people experience when they come here. Set yourself up so that you're true to what you're telling people to expect. But he didn't come from that standpoint. He can't come from a standpoint where say, you know, if you just hide crime, if you just sweep crime under the, just play it happen. Play it happen, and we should be okay. I want to say that we're not going to be okay. I want to say that the approach to it is a little bit backward. When will we take the time as Trinidad and Tobago? I heard Roger Hossain, who was one of my favorite economics lecturers, on Blaze and Miles' show one Monday morning. And he was talking about the idea of diversifying the economy and talking about the fact that in manufacturing, we're seeing growth outside of petrochemicals for some years now, 2-3 years. And he also said that the forecast from the IMF is that we're going to continue to see and enjoy economic growth. I feel like it's a real good opportunity now to look at the tourism product. I'm not saying tourism will replace oil and gas. It's just a help to diversify. If you're getting 100 billion from one industry and that industry going down to 20, then we need to, our best bet might be to find 10 other things that could make 8 billion a piece to get back to the 100 and maintain the standard of living. But also be in a position where when we lose one industry in downturn or whatever you want to call that, in recession, there's not such a hard fall off from the economic or the standard of living of the average person on a day-to-day in Trinidad. So tourism is a good time to look at it and say, okay, we want to be just like Jamaica. We just want to be an alternative to Jamaica. And our brand positioning is that come here because we're cheaper than Jamaica. Jamaica too expensive, all them resorts expensive. You could come here for half price. Or you could say, we real more expensive than Jamaica because we better. You have a premium experience when you come to this country. But we must find something that we hinge in our thing on. I want to say again that people, when you see things and you say things about Jamaica, like how Bob Marley jerseys worn everywhere in the world, how they have Jamaicans more proud than everybody. They talk hard, they talk with their own accent for longer than we talk. Although, if you ask Jamaicans, they say the same thing about Jamaicans who go abroad, they lose their accent immediately. They wear their colors everywhere they go, they're bright, they just. All those things came out of the same positioning exercise that they would have done. And this is 50 years ago, if not 60 years ago, that they would embark on this exercise to position Jamaica. I know that they did another brand positioning thing in 2020 around there. And I'm sure that between 70 and 20, they did others, because while Mercedes-Benz positions itself as premium, it would be fair to say that the definition of premium in the 60s, the 70s, the 90s, the nows, the definition of premium changes. So they have to go and update what they're doing to make sure that they're still positioned as premium, because the market definition of premium changed. So Jamaica would have updated it over time. But this is a good time for us to invest in a program like this that helps us to have one voice and one perception that we can manage and control in the international space, rather than people just coming up with whatever perception they have of us and we're fearful that the crime is eliminating that thing that we never worked towards getting in the first place. But salute to Clifford. At least Clifford, you're doing work, man. Call Google and ask them to just think the search engine and tweak it, you know what I mean? Fine-tune that towards Trinidad and Tobago. I like direction you're going in. You want some help? Maybe I could do some little consulting for the government. I wonder if I could, my philosophy about government is the idea of public funds getting in private pockets. But I'd go and try and become one of them private pockets. If I just say all that thing I just say for the last 10 minutes or so, you think they would take more on? In more news of no clear direction for tourism at all, Kilgwin Bay Hotel to create 2,600 jobs. So this is from the Express. And it says that the proposed 500-room hotel to be constructed at Kilgwin Bay, Tobago. Anybody know Kilgwin Bay? I never hear about this Kilgwin Bay. This is a real place. Kilgwin Bay, Tobago will attract 34,600 travelers to the island every year and create more than 2,600 jobs, the developers claimed. The proposed Secrets/Dreams all-inclusive hotel resort is scheduled to be built on an estimated 46 acres of land at Kilgwin Bay in Tobago. The 500 rooms are expected to comprise 200 rooms on Secret side and 300 rooms on the Dream side. The major difference between Secrets and Dreams is that the brand's Dreams is a family-friendly offering, while Secrets is an adults-only experience. Not. But Secrets and Dreams, I believe they have one of these in Jamaica too. The Secrets and Dreams thing that is a popular hotel chain, if I could call it that. According to the developer, the construction of the hotel is carded to come with a US $100 million capital injection to Tobago. The five-star hotel is also expected to produce an estimated annual operating income of $69.4 million. The hotel's resorts will be managed by AMR Resorts Marketing, a subsidiary of AMR Resorts, a leading international resorts management company, and a subsidiary of the Apple Leisure Group, which is now part of the Hyatt Hotel Corporation. So according to Cliff, just show this. Don't show nobody nothing. Just show them this. And we're supposed to be good. But I want to say that is a great move for Tobago. I was disappointed when I heard about sandals having to be shelved due to what seem as though it's political reasons. I have some doubts about that sandal thing there, to be honest, because big businesses like that, big businesses run governments, right? So even if the government playing the fool, you tend to find that big businesses will work a way around that and still get what they want out of a market if the market's important enough to them. So sandals withdrawing seemed to me to be a sign of either one, the market wasn't attractive enough for them to go through the hassle that was happening on the side with Tobago, on the side with the government here, or there was too much being asked too much unofficial asks that making the project unprofitable. Because typically what tends to happen with these things, right, just like with the oil companies, what tends to happen is that we have to give up something to get these people to come here. They can build another one of these in Jamaica, St. Lucia, Barbados, a place that already have several arrivals, big enough airports to handle big jets to do this, which we don't have in Tobago. So you might find that it's easier for them to go and build in countries that already have the infrastructure. Same with the oil companies. The oil companies, when they first came to Trinidad, what is it, 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s? When they came into Trinidad, they had to build the infrastructure to have an oil industry. When they work it out, it's worth it. Helping them construct a road network, proper ports, and those types of things. They had enough oil here at a high enough quality level that could sell globally, so they will invest in the country. But we typically, in countries like ours that don't have the negotiating power or we don't have the ability to build oil companies ourselves, evidently. And I shudder to think that we want to get into mega resorts as our government, take taxpayers' dollars to put in that. I hope not. I hope that never come. So what tends to happen is that they give away the land or they give away leases at very favorable rates, if not free. So the article went on to say the stakeholders have identified 46 acres of land of Kilburn for the proposed site. A document in the CEC application indicates that 18.72 hectares of land were transferred to Queso, Persad, Rampasad, and Robert Sanoa in 2003. The issue of the proposed Kilburn Bay was first broached by THA Chief Secretary Farley Augustin in November as he opened the Tobago stand. At the 43rd edition of World Traveller Market at the Excel Exhibition Centre in London. I'm not seeing anything clear here that says what is the arrangement for the land, but you typically find that the government plays a role in securing the land for the people, or they give them government lands. This seems to be land in private hands, but the deals are made. I would be very, very surprised if there's not a deal made between the government of Trinidad and Tobago or the THA and these people who build in these resorts. But all in all, I think it's a very positive move for Tobago. I feel as though more resorts of this nature need to be built if this is the direction we're going in, right? Because if mega resorts is where we want to position the country, but we see when you have no clear positioning, it's take all kind of decisions, but if mega resorts is where we want to go, we have to do something at the airport, make sure the road network good, because the road network good in Tobago to a point, but when you start to go past a certain point, it is not the most friendly driving experience. Although most of these resorts, people, they talk about them as increasing the economy in Tobago, right? But the way they increase the economy is that they hire, it's still very labor intensive, so they hire a lot of people. And you might find that small service providers could do better in environments like these. Like if you do parasailing and them kind of thing, you could make a deal with the hotel to come there and pay. They will pay through them and you get paid to do parasailing. Or glass bottom boats could work from the resort. So you tend to find that there's benefit to the economy, but these mega resorts are self-sufficient and almost self-contained. If you ever went to all-inclusive resorts, we typically don't leave at all. You typically go there and you're kind of done for the day. But what I feel we need to work on is to, if you're getting 20 of these things built in Tobago, because when you're looking for a destination with several options for accommodation will always look better than somewhere with one. So if people are looking for all-inclusive Caribbean vacation, you tend to find that the brand names like not Royal Caribbean, Sandals, Dreams, and these people, Grand Palladium, and these people, Riu, Grand Bahia, these are names that people in the countries that we may want to attract would look for. And when you find names like those, I want to say that if you're going to a Riu resort, the destination might matter less. If you see any options for all these, you're going to Sandals, you will go where Sandals is. You're looking to go for a Sandals experience. Well, let me use a better example, like a Ritz-Carlton type experience. If that's what you're looking for and you're looking for a vacation, you might choose one country over the next because one of them have a Ritz-Carlton and the next one doesn't. One have a Four Seasons, the next one doesn't, and so on and so on. Added to that, Tobago just have one golf course. That I know, Mount Irving and Plantations. And it's not the greatest, right? When you play White Witch in Jamaica and you see somebody plays, or you see DJ Khaled playing golf and somebody places he's play golf, maybe those are things we need to work on too. So it goes back to my same argument about brand positioning. If we clear who our target market is, we want high-end tourists, we want multi-millionaires and billionaires, which is what St. Lucia had positioned themselves as. And a mega rich person is not coming here to stay in no Dreams and Nightmares hotel. Not happening. So what St. Lucia did is they made properties available for the Mick Jaggers and these people and so on. And And that in the, of George Foreman's, and they then contributed to the economy in their own way because they will hire their own staff, they will do their own thing, they will play the golf courses, they will look for restaurants, they will support the local economy almost by default. But the fact that we have no clear brand positioning tells me that we're gonna take a helter-skelter approach to this and a hit and hope approach, and a whoever come and hope for the best in true Clifford style, rather than take an organized approach to how we want to go. But anyway, I really here to play. All all this talk, this be incidental, and I really just come here to play music. What I want to play today, in the spirit of the first song by Johnny King, one of the greatest soca ever written, I really just want to play a song that related to water and flooding and them kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, well, this is the water. Also aqua. Get ready to flow. Here we go. It's all about flooding the stream. Keep it flooding. When you see we back down, water flowing all over the town. Water flowing. We join up like a wassail. Water flowing. Full pressure when we start to whine. Water flowing. So when you feel like dripping, get in the line. Then you turn off the engine and keep it rewind. Start to move it slow like water. This is a creeper. Hold on your mother and hold on your daughter. When you see we back down, water flowing all over the town. Water flowing. We join up like a wassail. Water flowing. Full pressure when we start to whine. Water flowing. And now we going now. Drip, drop, drip, drop. I said dip in the water. Drip, drop, drip. I want you dip in the water. Drip, drop. I said dip in the water. Drop. When you see me back down, water flowing all over the town. Water flowing, busting like a pressure line. Water flowing, woman in front and man behind. Water flowing, na 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 na. Now we turn in the corner, so bend up the spine. When we reach on the foreshore, give them the wine. Turn the pipe and open the flow. Wiggle to and fro through the valley and in the meadow. Then you see we back come down. Water flowing all over the town. Water flowing, join up like a wassail. Water flowing, full pressure when we start to whine. Water flowing, how we going? Drip, drop, dip. All you dip in the water. Drip, drop, dip. How you dip in the water? Drip, drop, dip. I said dip in the water. Drop, Let me see me back down. Water flowing all over the town. Water flowing, we busting like a pressure line. Water flowing, woman in front and man behind. Water flowing, let me go. All you dip in the water. I want you dip in the water. I say dip in the water. Here we go. Say na 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 na. It's all about flood. When they see we bang come down, water flowing all over the town.
Water flowing,
busting like a wassail. Water flowing, full pressure when we start to whine.
water flowing, and then we go dip in the water, dip. Hey, what we going back to now? Star Network? No, if you're not up to speed, if you're not up to, you know what I mean? You gotta get up to speed fast in this country, you know. Star Network was who we talked about last week, who was giving away laptop and phone, right? If you go to the TTT news page and look for Stars Network's $1 launch event, you will see a picture of the Star phone and the Star laptop. You can't say the people did not know phone and a laptop. No, it's a picture only one. But they didn't say how much they was giving away in the first place. You was paying $1 for a smartphone, $1 for a laptop. Of course, it caused some mayhem down my movie tongue there. And it was shut down. They couldn't make it. Karen LaPierre is the man. And Karen say, here we're going on. We need to rethink this. We need to do this a little different because, you know what I mean, to when people hear. So, reading from the TTT as a refresher, Star Network Trinidad and Tobago was forced to abandon their planned subscriber promotion today due to overwhelming response from the members of the public. The company advertised its $1 devices for customers who signed up on their mobile subscription device at Movietown on Friday. That event come and get shut down, right? Now, I'll tell you in true Trinidadian style. It's easy to get away with thing here, right? As much as you could get away from the police and you could get away with a crime concern, the court of public opinion is going to be waiting on you. All the social media people and the gurus who like to dig up information on Twitter and so on, they're going to be waiting on you. TSTT write a letter. They say here we're going on in response to Star Network's TNT $1 for a mobile device or laptop promotion on Friday and its subsequent postponement due to overwhelming public response. TSTT CEO Lisa Agard has written to the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago asking the organization to issue a public warning. So what they're saying basically from Lisa Agard is that these people are not licensed to operate nothing here. In this country, you still need a license to run a telecommunications network. So all who come in to give a $1 phone and $1 laptop and them kind of thing under the guise of having a telecommunications network and things to sign up to, and who name after Elon Musk announced, or it was announced that Starlink network, which is apparently related to Elon or a company belonging to Elon Musk that offering satellite internet services, was launched. Star come and launch here. I and all thought Star was Starlink because me reading too deep, but Lisa Agard say, well, Tat had to respond and Tat had to send out a letter and let people know what's the truth. While Tat waiting to draft that letter, people went on the internet and went and do a little light digging, right? So first I'll read an article from Joel Julian. Salute to Joel, who is back with the Express now, I believe. He said, LaPierre distances Star from previous low-cost laptop initiative. Really? Kieran, you had another low-cost laptop. Let me hear what they're saying here. This is not the first time that the name Kieran LaPierre has been affiliated with the provision of low-cost laptops in the country. In 2014, he was CEO and founder of a company that launched an initiative aimed to middle to lower-income parents. The name of it was Good Remedies a Parent Should Exercise Socially. Good Remedies a Parent Should Exercise Socially. That don't mean nothing. I don't know that don't mean it. And it is GRIPS is what it stands for. Good Remedies a Parent Should Exercise Socially. It's still add up to GRIPS, but GRIPS was the acronym for them. And it was a 6-step program created by LaPierre almost a decade ago. Under the program, for $1 down and $25 a week for 17 months, GRIPS provided a new 2-in-1 laptop tablet combo. TSTT partnered with GRIPS. I wonder what Lisa Agard was then. However, LaPierre has distancing Star from GRIPS. We would like to address a recent rumors and incorrect information circulating on social media platforms concerning association between Star Network and GRIPS Group. As a responsible organization, we feel it is crucial to set the record straight and to provide accurate information to our valued stakeholders, like Uso. In a statement from LaPierre stated that concerns about Friday's launch were raised online. Firstly, Star Network would like to clarify it has indeed acquired the social media accounts and followers previously owned by GRIPS Group. In one quote, Karen says Star had nothing to do with GRIPS, but we acquired their followers and their page, right? Some bright person on social media went and look up, you know, when you go to a Facebook page and when it was created and show the history. Let me tell you the history of the thing. It's saying 4th of June created a group by the name of GRIPS. On the 8th of June, the name was changed to GRIPS in all caps. On the 13th of September 2016, it was changed to GRIPS for a Good Life Limited. By March 2017, it was changed to GRIPS Education. 11th of December 2017, GRIPS Education Group. By the 14th of July 2020, fast forward to now, is Grapes Education Group Caribbean. 23rd of November, in the height of COVID, 2020, Grapes Group. On 9th of November 2021, it gone back to Grapes Education. On the 16th of November 2021, it gone to Grapes Technology Group. And then on the 28th of November 2022, name changed to Star Network. But my guys say distancing from that. All they do, maybe they buy the page. Could they just about, but they don't just, yeah, what, I'm not sure who you all are who running this grapes thing. I'm not sure why your name spells grapes, but your name is grapes. But I would like to offer you some money so that I could buy your followers and your, you know what I mean? Come on, because we plan to give away phones and laptops for $1, similar to what you would have tried to do with your $1 down payment. So we see in the synergies and we see in the alignment here. But, we don't want to wait and get all those followers. You know what I mean? If you give away things for $1, you could never get no followers under this thing. So what we want to do is partner with somebody. Oh, sorry, not partner. Buy this thing from people who already did dollar things. We already approached Colin Lucas, but now we're approaching you for your page. And we want to get this thing done. He went on to say, additionally, we would like to bring to your attention that Grapes Group is currently engaged in a legal dispute with the financial securities company.
I love you.
I love you. Why? You're just trying to be on camera? You're going straight to school, brother? You're going to get iron first? All right, bye. Okay, bye. It's the kind of disturbances is at the deal. The man is just rolling and you can't get away from it. Where was I? Due to this ongoing matter, the company has temporarily closed its doors until the dispute is resolved. Wait, I don't understand, Karen. Karen, you start off this article by saying you're distancing yourself from grapes. But now you're explaining grapes disputes as if you're intimately involved in these disputes. I'm very confused as to what is happening. Let me just explain something, right? This man, when you see people in jacket and polo jersey, don't trust them. When you see people in jackets and polo jersey, don't trust nothing what they wear. That's all. Don't trust nothing there to say. This man said in a legal dispute. We understand that this situation has caused inconvenience and concerns for individuals who are associated with Grapes Group. He stated, however, this is an ongoing legal matter. We are unable to provide further details or comments at this time. We understand that transparency is essential and we have committed to updating our stakeholders as soon as significant developments occur. The significant development might be in a place called Romaniad. Significant development. Courthouse to jail as well. Anyway, Lepe stated that Star Network values its relationship with its customer. This man is just interchanging between, it's so hard to keep up with which organization he's talking about. He stated that Star Networks values its relationships with its customers, partners, and the community, and we remain dedicated to maintaining our commitment to integrity and ethical business practices. I can see that. We appreciate your continued support and understanding as we navigate through these circumstances. Salute to you. No word yet on when they will resume when they will resume their giveaways. I'm not seeing anything like that. Like, not giveaways, the $1. I'm not sure when the network launching, but I did see the great Digicel come out and say, "Here, what we backing them." They say, don't worry all yourself. We working with stars, so you don't have to worry about nothing. You know what I mean? So. In the Business Guardian now, Digicel backs Star Network as TAT says no green light given to operate. So despite the Telecommunications Authority statement that there is no third provider, Digicel, a licensed telecommunications provider, is offering support to Star Network to legally provide reliable connectivity. The move comes after TSTT lodges formal complaint. Star Network has since denied being a mobile virtual network operator and accused TSTT of misleading the public. Nevertheless, Digicel has expressed its willingness to provide reliable connectivity to anyone who wants to use the Star Network's services lawfully. I confused. We have a telecommunications authority who's supposed to be responsible for any granting of licenses to telecommunications providers, right? This is my very basic understanding. Me so good at researching, but that's my basic understanding of everything, right? So what we're trying to understand. TSTT and Digicel could sublet to other networks. Like they could sublet. So I could buy out a portion of TSTT license and sell my own phone. And when you get your phone from me, it's a TSTT phone. It's just Corey network. I'm not sure how this works. I'm very, very confused and concerned. I also concerned at this statement that it was published earlier in the week that Starlink, what's the people name? What's Elon Musk thing? Starlink, the Star Wars people. They said they could offer internet, but the opening line of this article says that telecommunications authorities stated that there's no third provider. So if Star subletting from Digicel, is Starlink subletting from TSCT? Like, what is happening? And all in all, you know what's the most surprising thing about this whole thing? Like, it's still have people working TSCT. How TSCT getting people to respond when you call them? You can't get them on the phone at all. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like a ghost tongue inside there. It's at the time I used to know everybody didn't know it's problem. But anyway, I don't wrap up. I'm gonna run through some things quick here and go to meeting before this man crack down on me. No proof of Jaguar despite claw marks and attack claims, right? So there's no confirmed reports of a Jaguar attacking Palo Conservator of Forest Denny Dipchansing said yesterday in a response to a report by a Palo resident that he was attacked by the animal. Did he with the scrapes from last week? On Wednesday, the resident went to Santa Flora police station and reported that he was attacked by the Jaguar. After this happened, there was several videos shown, some of them in Diego Martin, I feel Laperta. Some of them in Diego Martin where people had a little Jaguar in a cage and feeding the Jaguar, you know what I mean? Jaguar drinking cow's milk and all these things. And the zoo came out and said, listen, there's about 3-4 Jaguar we recover recently within the last few years, but none of them had nothing to do with it in Palo Seco. And the Hunters Association was down there looking for things, but it looked like there's no Jaguar happening down there. So I don't know what the man could do to explain to your wife which part he really was and what it is he was really doing. But apparently there's no Jaguar. So that song like a rap on that story. It sounds like a rap on that story to me. I don't know if more sightings will occur. I feel that man better talk to whichever Jaguar he went by and tell him better you don't scratch him up. So better you don't scratch. But I want to give him credit for being very quick. My philosophy is deny, and cry. But he philosophy is read the news and whatever is the biggest story in the country, go with that when you get catch on them thing. On to more stories. Destra Unchained. Queen of Bacchanal says this is her last soca album. So Destra is moving to release a soca album. I wonder if Unchained means unplugged. Let me just see what they're saying here. Destra Garcia's newly released Unchained album is a collector's item for all true soca fans. Destra says the album project, the 16th of a 2-decade plus career in the genre, will be her final full album of festival music. I do want to explore different genres. I feel like after 16 albums, I could do another genre. My fans have been calling for a Christmas album, a gospel album. There's a lot of music left in me. I agree. I think Destra show me the singing ability. You know what I mean? When Destra sing like ballads and popular songs and stuff, even as a part of what she does, like her performances is always sung great. She have a engaging way of performing those R&B and those types of songs is really good. And when you look at some of her biggest hits, they are melodies that borrowed from other very popular songs like Bonnie and Clyde. I can't remember the song that Bonnie and Clyde come from, or even Carnival and T&T. There's another older song that they use and remake the lyrics. I don't know what it's called, if it's remix or sampling or whatever it is. But you could see that she likes that type of music, and I find that she's sung good singing it too. So if Destra was to slow it down, give you a little Christmas album. And when I say Christmas album, no park, not that. You know what I mean? Leave that for me, so leave that for Ramparandero. But that like a chestnut roasting kind of thing. You know, Sparrow used to do a lot of ballads, eh? When I forget it. Why do I keep fooling myself? I should play that. Loving you when you love someone else. Only a fool. You know them songs? Breaks his own heart. Sparrow had plenty of that. Sparrow could put an album of them kind of ballad. I would love to hear Destro do a little chestnuts roasting and them types of songs. But I mean, I don't know if she had to localize it or anything like that. I think she should just do them as covers. Like you see how Boyz II Men and Mariah Carey and them have covers of those types of songs. Destra should do covers of them songs. White Christmas, do all them things. Because I have enough Trinis living abroad. We don't have to come and make it a local version of the thing. Just do a cover album that could sell anywhere in the world. All this could be part of our brand positioning as a country, you know, to showcase the artists that we have and showcase the type of talent and range that our artists have. Gospel album for sure, because there's a lot of gospel in the way Destra performs now anyhow. And I would like to hear Destra do a little reggae too. Reggae. Good Jamaican. Destra was the most loved Jamaican artist, Trinidad artist, performing in Jamaica Carnival at a point in time. You know, she was the boss. So if she do a reggae, and I ain't talking about no whole time reggae, you know. Go and work with Taurus Riley. Go and work with Chronics if people like him. If go and work with Coffee if people still like her. You know, whoever is the new version, Jesse Royal, whoever is new reggae, and work with some new dancehall artists, something, and I would love to see something like that. So, widely considered the queen of soca, Destra was one of the few female voices leading the mainstream regional emergence in the genre in the late 90s. A former junior calypso winner, the then 19-year-old Destra had a breakthrough with the frontline singer Roy Keep. I only know Destra history, right? I'm bound to read that, but it would be nice to see. I always like to see her, Alice Hines, and Denise Belfort come and sing. We his expressive whiners, we don't deal without the timers. Imagine three of them come together and put together a song on that little ballad album that Destra planned to do. I find it a song good. Nostalgia for everybody and so on. All right, I have another I have a headline here that says LGBTQ activist challenges his country's anti-sodomy law and wins. Right? But due to time constraints, I'll be covering that next week from all angles. You know what I mean? The man say anti-sodomy and the man sue the government and win, right? So we'll cover that next week because we out of time. But I do want to leave you with just a few of the water songs given the and you know the thing about it is, right? While I was planning for I'll be honest with you, when I was planning for this podcast, it was rain from since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, heavy rain, thunder waking you up in the night. Now it's time to publish the podcast. You know, it's hot sun and all this water song irrelevant like hell. But of course, when it comes to flooding song and water song, this is one that you can't leave out, right?
Granny Ma go say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Lord, Granny Ma go say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Again, Granny wake up late. Supposed to meet my gal down by City Gate, but today I sleep just a little long, and the circumstance inspire me to write a song. Last time I late with me, she screaming ball. So I make up a alliance to the taxi stall. But that was last week in front of Concert Mall. And I can't come back with that whole life for she at all. I know the sun real hot and the day dry. The white lion makeup go make you cry as the excuse for my tardiness. For my girlfriend not to hack up when she moodiness. There's a flood on the main road. Flood on the main road. I don't think I'd coming down at the relief is low. But there's a flood on the main road. There's a on the main road, fly on the main road. I don't think I'd coming down at the relief is low. Cause there's a flood on the main road too.
What do you mean when you say a donkey cart coming down at the relief as well?
Later again it on no water, so I take a little bath by the standpipe. And I know she go be real vexed with me tonight. So I have to think of my best lie. Tonight I go fake a cry. Whole evening baby I'm feeling sick. A bad roti put me in the toilet. I'm leaving home, some man to call. Cause Clanny getting big in the dance hall. But I can't tell me darling that at all. So I lie and here by me, the rain it fall and cause a flood on the main road. Flood on the main road. I think he can't coming down at the relief is low. But there's a flood on the main road. There's a flood on the main road. Flood on the main road. I don't think he can't coming down at the relief is low. But there's a flood on the main road. There's a
flood on the main road. A flood on the main road. I plan to talk a lot of things about flooding. And all look out, the bright sun shining. There's a flood. One more. Every time I say one more, it's about three more, right? But with all due respect, this is a man I find don't get enough respect, you know, to be honest with all you. You see this fella in soca music? They like to talk about Bajan invasion and what the era when Barbados was singing better groovy soca than Trinidad, and they like to give Alison Hines, rightfully so, a lot of credit, right? But I'm telling you that this fella here might have more bombs. If he does do have verses, he gonna be a hard man to beat, you know, because he have more bombs in his catalog than plenty artists from any island, including Trinidad. You know?
Only oil I wanted, but it's water coming. 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 I bought some land for Virginia land for in search of oil.
But I only finding
Water. Don't care how deep it's water. No, it's knee high and still water. So I'll add some pressure to get oil. I need to drill down low, deep and low, dig down low, dig way down low. Drill down low, deep and low, dig down low. I need to drill down low, deep and low, dig down low, dig way down low. Drill down low, deep and low, dig down low. Dig oil from there. What's the fighting? And the rain I'm flowing. 'Cause it's hard work digging, but I just ain't giving. What's me fighting? And the rain I'm flowing. 'Cause it's hard work digging, but I just ain't giving. Don't give up, 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 don't you give up. Dig what? Don't give up. Come again, man. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, don't you give up. Dig it. Me tooling notching from the constant. But I have to keep on till me sweet back turns to water. It get deeper still, it's water. Now it's just high and still water. So I add some pressure to get oil. I need to drill down low, deep and low, dig down low. I need to drill down low, deep and low, dig down low.
drill down low, dip and low, dig down low, drill way down low, drill down low, dig down low. I wonder what kind of water you talking about, but I might get confused easy, you know. But it would be remiss of me to be so disrespectful as to plan an episode about Random Myers Hudson and not pay respect to the man who used to be the bum bum master, right? They used to say he's the bum bum master. Then they started calling him the jump and wave master. Then they started calling him the wine. It's a heavy wine. He turned every master it have any art form. He passed through that as the master of that. And now he known affectionately and rightfully as the water lord.
Hey, hey, hey. Whoa, yeah, yo. Hey, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yo. Aye. Come in front for your blessings. Come in front for your blessings. The water blessings. Come in front for your blessings.
I am blessed.
Father, come in front for your blessings. Come in front for your blessings. The water blessings. Come in front for me. I am blessed. Father, bless me. Raise your hand if you want to get blessed. Raise your hand if you want to get blessed. Raise your hand if you want to get blessed. Wave your hand if you want to get blessed. Raise your hand if you want to get blessed. Wave your hand if you want to get blessed. Wave your hand if you want to get blessed. Aye. You have to have faith. You have to have faith. You have to have faith. Open the Zion gate. You have to have faith. You have to have faith. Everybody come. Come in front for your blessings. Come in front for your blessings. The water blessings. Come in front for your blessings. I am blessed. Jesse Martin. If Trinidad on fire, fire. Someday go on fire, fire. Trinidad on fire, fire. The people want water. The people want water. The people want water. The people want the water. The people want
Water,
the people want
water. Hey, hear what? Have a good weekend, right? Go on. I will talk to you next week. It had orange alert, it had yellow alert. Thankfully, I hope nobody get into no flood damage and all them thing. All the joke I like to make. I hope everybody's safe and everybody dry. But judging from outside, looking everybody's safe and dry. So I just hoping yellow alert go down, orange alert go down. It's no such a flooding. But enjoy the little rain while it lasts. Enjoy the, you know what I mean? The place hot. The bushfires. We can't complain about everything at the same time, right? So let me enjoy whatever the week give to we. Be productive, will it be good? And I will talk to you next week, Tuesday. Bye.
Water, what the people want? Water, what the people want? Water. Play massive peace like Savannah. The sun shining hotter than pepper. It won't make the cool that temperature. The people want water. The people want water. The people want water. Them girls they want the water. Let's say they want some water. Let's say they want some water. Let's say jump up in the water. The people want water. The people want water. 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 The water coming. What you gonna do? Carnival money in the